What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react to this video clip of the Prime Minister of Norway. And if you remember, not too long ago when Donald Trump sent him all of those insane text messages about the Nobel Peace Prize. Remember that? And apparently, the Prime Minister of Norway, Jonas Gahr Støre, gave his thoughts on all of that stuff. And, as an American myself, I am very, very curious to hear what he had to say about that whole thing, because that was crazy. And we all heard what Donald Trump said in the messages, but I never got to hear what the Norwegian Prime Minister had to say. So let's take a look.
I just spoke to the Prime Minister of Norway. He's the man who looked down at his phone and had a message from President Trump saying, "Dear Eunice, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely
Oh
of peace."
my God.
Now, can you imagine what it felt like for him to look down at his phone?
Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm glad that they're showing the message, because this is insane. Oh my God. I had kind of forgotten everything that was in this message. This was big news at the time, but so much has happened. This was kind of during a lot of the Greenland threats and the madness. Oh my goodness gracious. As an American, none of us should ever forget that Donald Trump literally said, "I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace." He literally sent that. Unbelievable. I mean, and now, the United States, we're at war with Iran, right? So there you go. He wasn't lying. We probably should have paid attention. It's crazy that this has already been kind of forgotten and brushed under the rug. This should be talked about more, but there's just so much madness. It's hard to keep up with. Yeah, this is what he sent to the Norwegian Prime Minister, complaining about the Nobel Peace Prize.
No longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace. Now, can you imagine what it felt like for him to look down at his phone and to see that message?
No.
Well, now you don't have to imagine, because you can actually hear him explain for himself. Here is that moment of my conversation with the Prime Minister of Norway.
That's really cool. Okay, so we get to hear what he said. I mean, you look down and you see a message from Donald Trump. It's probably anxiety. It's what you would feel, literally looking at the message, oh my, you see Trump's name come up and you're like, oh my God, what is it? What is it now? But let's hear what he thought about these specific messages.
What, sir, went through your mind?
Well, I can verify those messages, and you read the first one, which was, on Sunday, President Stubb and I, who work closely together, we are neighbors in the north, we thought it would be a good start of this week with Davos to have a conversation with the president. We talk to him frequently, and the tone is good.
Oh, wow. It's amazing to hear, how casual it all is. Behind the scenes, all these world leaders are, just texting each other. Normal. It's just normal for them, I guess. So the Norwegian Prime Minister has an open conversation with Trump and talk to it, which is good. It's good because I think a lot of people and maybe some world leaders have a lot of anxiety and maybe are kind of almost afraid to have to deal with Trump and probably try to avoid him. But it's nice to hear that the Prime Minister of Norway is not afraid at all, and he just will talk to Trump and try to probably get reasonable things done. That's good. We need more people like that.
And this message you read came back to me after an hour, and he actually distributed that to all other NATO leaders as well.
He sent that to all the other leaders. That just shows you how he is just not, he is shameless. He's shameless. Sending that to everyone, like so he could see that he is pestering Norway about the no. And how ironic is it that this is about the Nobel Peace Prize when he's trying to take over Greenland, and now we're bombing Iran. You can't make this up.
On Greenland, you heard my position. I don't need to repeat that. I find it unacceptable to take land from other countries.
Of course. By the way, the Prime Minister of Norway, Jonas Gahr Støre, seems like a really nice guy. Like, it's so refreshing. Oh my God. It might be hard to understand, but as an American, like, having to deal with Donald Trump, just the way he talks, the things that he says, it's really, like, refreshing and also kind of depressing to see other world leaders, like how they talk and how they are well-spoken and normal and smart. And I wish we had more of that.
I believe that the big challenge we have in front of us now is Ukraine. It's a very dramatic war going on with huge ramifications. It's very bad for Ukraine, of course, but also dangerous for Europe, for the US, for world peace. That's really what we need to look into.
He's going to have a hard time convincing Donald Trump because Ukraine is not even talked about anymore in the United States. Nobody even talks about it. Like, that's how fleeting our news is, our attention. It's like, okay, on to the next thing. Like, it's really sad.
And this Peace Prize thing, I have repeated, I've told President Trump many times that the Nobel Committee is an independent committee. It is staunchly secretive about the way it works. I am informed about the Nobel Prize alongside the rest of the world at 11 o'clock on that day in October. And that's how it is.
Here's what.
Oh my God. You can just sense, like, he, to his credit, the Prime Minister of Norway is really good at, like, he's very professional, and he doesn't, like, call Trump names, like stupid or... Obviously, he has explained to Donald Trump how the Nobel Peace Prize, how it works, and how they select the winner, and he must have the patience of a saint to deal with Trump and try to explain this to Trump. Because Donald Trump literally blames him because he thinks Norway... You know what? He thinks the leader of Norway is like him. Like, if we have an award in the US, Trump can just, like, manipulate and force people to choose who he wants. Trump can have the final say. But in Norway, Trump cannot understand that other countries actually have integrity and that other leaders actually, like, play by the rules and have honor, and like Jonas Gahr Støre is not gonna force the Nobel Committee to do what he wants. Like, Donald Trump can't understand that because that's so different from how his mind works, I think.
What he said about you and your role in it yesterday on his way to Davos.
Don't let anyone tell you that Norway doesn't control the shots, okay? It's in Norway. I lost a lot of respect for Norway.
Oh my God, give me a break. Oh my God, how backwards is that? Trump lost respect for Norway? How backwards is that? Norway should lose a ton of respect for Trump for saying this stuff. And also, like, thinking that Norway is corrupt enough to, like, that they could manipulate the Nobel Prize, and that just shows, oh my God, that's so dumb.
How do you have a relationship with, deal pragmatically and diplomatically with a person who talks like that?
I'm Prime Minister of my country. As I say, we may be a small country, but we are a proud country, and we stand for our values, we stand for our procedures, we stand for our institutions.
That's nice to hear. this is a good question. I'm really curious about. How does he stand working with Trump? And I think he's kind of saying that it is his duty. So he's a man of great honor, obviously, like, smart guy. I like him a lot.
And President Trump is right. The Nobel Peace Prize is handed out from Norway, but it is done so by a committee which is selected to do that work. I have respect for world leaders. They are different. They have different temperaments, different priorities, different sensitivities. And if you are prime minister, you have to be diplomatic in the sense that you talk straight, but you're able to deal with people. And the United States is a very important ally for Norway, strong cultural, political.
Wow. This guy is amazing. To have the strength to put up with the United States, like right now, like Donald Trump as the president of the U.S., for Jonas to remain objective and be like, you know what, it's my job to not to judge other world leaders, but to try to work with them and accept that some are going to be difficult, some are hard, they are very different. He is such a professional. Oh my God, this is amazing.
Political ties, and that's my point of departure for finding good solutions and be very clear in my messages when I need to.
So that's awesome. I can see why he is the Prime Minister of Norway. He is like extremely focused, extremely professional, just trying to get the job done. He's not really here to, because a lot of other world leaders like just are call Trump names and try to one-up him and get lost in the drama a bit. Jonas Gahr Støre, he's all business, and he's just speaking the facts. He's very straightforward and knows his stuff. Very cool. I think this is a great response, just like taking the higher road and just being like, yeah, Donald Trump is wrong. I've told him that he is wrong. I've tried to explain to him how it works. And yeah, it's my job as Prime Minister of Norway to do what's best for Norway and to try to work with world leaders. And I'll do what I have to do. And that's such an awesome professional response. I have a lot of respect for that. And it would be so wonderful if the United States had somebody like this. I had kind of forgotten what that's like. So, yeah, I think this is a great response. This was cool to see. And I'm just reminded at how outrageous this whole situation was. Insane. But Norway handled it really well. So anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on the Prime Minister of Norway, talking about his thoughts on Donald Trump and the texts. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norwegian things that I've never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.